right, everybody. Welcome back to the Holistics Highlights podcast. Scott Kaplan here, along with Grande, the Brown Man from the Kaplan and Crew show. And with this podcast, Holistics Highlights, here is the brains of the operation. She runs all the marketing for Torrey Holistics, California Holistics, Ruthie Edelson. Hi, Ruthie.
Hi, guys. What's going on?
I'm saying it right from the get-go. Anybody who's listening on audio podcast, come to the YouTube podcast because I love those glasses.
Thanks, Scott.
Those are coming back, dude. I've seen a lot of people, at least maybe it's because where I live.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people wearing those glasses.
Yeah, you're around all the hipsters.
Everything comes back in this neighborhood. Everything.
Yeah.
Nothing goes out of style in this neighborhood.
Except that I've had these for a while and I'm not hip at all. I have some very or much younger women working in my department and they are teaching me some things.
You know, Ruthie, I always say to these guys, I don't know when I became the old guy. Like I used to be the young guy all the time. Now I'm the old guy.
That's how I've been feeling lately. And it's such a weird feeling because I've always been, the young one. And like, I thought it was hip and now I'm feeling old and achy and not so hip. It's really weird.
I know. It is weird when you introduce your kids and you're like, this is my 22-year-old son, Justin, my 20-year-old daughter. I'm like, what? I got kids. How could a young guy like me have kids that are in, I mean, come on, right?
I know. I'm only 28. Like, how does that happen? I can't have a 15 and a half year old.
Exactly. So it happens.
Scott, I could be your kid.
I mean, I guess in theory,
technically, yes, that's true.
In theory, yes, you could be.
Mm-hmm.
You could be.
Yeah.
You know,
certain parts of the country, I most definitely could be your kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
let's rub it in, Alex.
Yeah. No, I said Scott. Me and you, Ruthie, we're good.
Well, I'm pretty excited about this episode of the podcast. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, Ruthie, last weekend, I went down to California Holistics in Chula Vista for the first time. So Torrey's my home base because it's closer to my house. I was down in that area. Could not believe the convenient location because I know that area because I always went down there for Little League baseball and soccer and whatever. So great location in a big shopping center with like a Jerome's Furniture and a Chili's. And it's like own standalone building and it's bright white and it's got this great blue color on the outside. So it just makes it pop. And then you can see in through all the windows. So I was really excited to see the brand new California Holistics. How are things going down in Chula Vista?
Yeah, it's going great. We are going to be having another party there this weekend. So I'm really stoked about that. There's going to be DJ and food and giveaways, all kinds of amazing deals. Our goodie bags are going to be given away starting at 12 p.m. on Saturday. We'll have 250 of those. So that's going to be awesome. There's great products in them for a penny. Like you cannot get a better deal than that. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, that place is great. Now, what I'm really stoked about is Grande Brown Man. You guys are going to love this. So today, our guest is a gentleman by the name of Nate Ferguson, and he's the co-founder of a company called Jetty Extracts. So I got my goodie bag
looks
right
full,
here.
man.
Dude,
that
I got
bag
bag,
full,
man.
bro.
I got this thing's hurting my shoulder holding it up right now. I'm reaching into my goodie bag here, my Torrey goodie bag.
Was that supposed to be split into three?
Now this is an accumulation right here, homeboy.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Okay.
So
wait, is that where you keep your stuff locked up?
Yeah, right there in that bag. I keep it locked up.
The high level of security right there.
That's why stuff keeps disappearing in this house. Gosh darn it.
That is a big bag.
Yeah.
I thought Jetty just dropped off a stork's worth of supply.
No, there's all kinds of stuff in there to test. But this product right here, the Jetty Solventless vapes, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And it just so happens that for me, I'm excited to talk to Nate because Ruthie had connected Nate and I several months ago and we had chatted. And he turned me on to what Solventless is, which I still don't necessarily understand. We'll learn a lot about it today. This is a great product. That's all I'm saying.
Are either of you familiar with Jetty's Dablicator? Because I have questions.
Oh, really? Old person dance?
I have questions. I looked up their video and I saw what it was. And this is like, I hope they patented this thing. Because it is genius. Have you guys seen it?
No,
the Dablicator?
No, the Tablicator?
The Dablicator.
Dablicator.
Like dab, but
see that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
What?
Not,
What?
no,
What?
no,
No, not.
No?
Oh,
Yeah.
now you're cringy and shit. No.
Now,
Oh.
what? Yeah. When did you become the old guy?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Scott. I
I'll
gotta
let Nate
agree with
explain
them.
All right. Well, I want to know what it is too. All right. Well, here he is. He is the co-founder of Jetty Extracts, and we all seem to have questions for him. Nate Ferguson is finally here. He's joining us. He's ready to go.
I don't know. I always forget my neck pillow, so that's where I'm at with it. Every time I get on a flight, I'm like, damn, I forgot the damn pillow.
Dude, this all happened because exactly what you just said. Like, we're waiting for you, And I was telling everybody that I'm traveling tonight for the first time in a really long time. And I went and grabbed the neck pillow just so I don't forget it. I put it on, and apparently it sparked a whole conversation about how you're supposed to wear it. I thought this is the way you do it, with it just on the back of your neck, like you're a linebacker in the 80s.
Yeah.
Well,
That's how I would wear it.
according to the directions by Alex, it's supposed to be the opposite way, Scott.
Like this in the front of your face?
Yes.
No, it's not.
That looks terrible.
It doesn't matter how it looks. It matters how you feel.
It's all about how it
comfort.
works. I agree.
Yeah. So when you pass out, okay, first of all, when you fall asleep, does your head fall forward when you're sleeping? Yeah. People are always going like that so if you put it in the front, there's no head. You're just falling asleep. I was arguing the ideal way to wear a neck pillow is on the side, like a horseshoe. That way you could just like put your head to the side and pass out. I'm telling you, it is. See?
Yeah.
Isn't that
No, it's
comfortable?
pretty good.
Yeah. I'm telling you guys,
Not bad.
that is the way to wear a neck pillow.
I twist and
especially in a
turn when I
cross
sleep. I'm
country
going to
flight.
turn it onto the other side. Oh, this feels
Yeah.
good over here.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
dude.
Not
That's the way
bad.
to do it. Yeah.
Well,
Scott,
Nate,
welcome.
you're gonna have to
Welcome,
play
Nate.
around with some methods while you're on your flight, man.
right. I'm going to. Nate, I mean, you thought we were going to just talk about Jetty Extracts today. Look, we're talking about real life, man.
I love it. I love it.
Dude,
Does Jetty Extracts want to design a neck pillow that is for the left or right side of the head?
Ooh.
That'd be cool. We'd have to incorporate a little like vaporizer in there so you can see
Yeah.
Yes.
and
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I like where we're going with this.
Put a little space for like some Vicks Vapor Rub type stuff that you can sniff in.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's a whole new meaning of jet now. Jet lag.
The Jetty Jet Suite X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are good ideas.
Yes.
You could add this to all the merch that you have on your website,
Mm-hmm.
just an idea. So Nate, it is great to see you, man. And I know Ruthie had hooked us up a while ago, and I was telling the guys before you came on, you started to tell me about Jetty Extracts, and you were using this word solventless.
Yeah.
Solventless. And there were a couple other people on the call that day, and I just didn't want to sound stupid by saying, guys, what is that word you're saying? And then I finally just asked, and you spelled it for me, solventless. And I was like, what does that mean? Dude, I love your products. Can you tell us about what solventless means?
Yeah, I mean, solventless is just a great term to explain the extraction method, which implies no solvents, right? So basically no chemical solvents, actually no chemical solvents are used in the making of this product. So the only thing that touched the cannabis during processing is ice and water. No chemicals, just ice, water, heat, and pressure is the only thing used to make that product.
Ice, water, heat, and pressure. And just because none of us probably really know, like, what's the difference between that solventless and what you're saying you're not, and what's the difference really?
So in normal extractions and different types of concentrates we see out there, and not only the cannabis industry and just other industries in general, a lot of ways to make extracts involve solvents. So that could be a hydrocarbon solvent, which we would say was butane, propane, things like that. Or, ethanol, organic cane ethanol, pentane. There's all different types of solvents, and they're usually some sort of, a harsh solvent. You think of something you might want to clean your floor with, stuff like that, like really, really harsh solvents can be used in certain extraction methods. Of course, in the cannabis industry, what we do, even if you use a harsh solvent, is you purge all that solvent out so the product's safe to consume. But there's, something to be said about not using any solvents in the process. It just makes for a really, really clean product. And it's more environmentally friendly. We're not, drilling for certain types of oils or hydrocarbons and butanes and propanes and things like that when we're using this extraction method. it's just ice and water, which is great.
Last one from me then. I'm sorry to dominate everybody, but I love this product. But let me ask you last thing. What's the difference then in the effects of something that has solvents in it and something that doesn't have solvents in it?
It's a matter of what we're really capturing in the extraction method. So certain solvents will be more selective with, to get certain compounds depending on the polarity and, certain, I guess, properties of the solvent. So butane, that we use for live resin is a great one for grabbing terpenes and cannabinoids, which is great. But with ice and water, there's certain terpenes that might be more water soluble than others. So it's going to give you it's going to grab different compounds that other solvents wouldn't, which makes for a different experience. And I would say with the solventless products, it's more like a flower type high. It's really, you're getting a really spectrum of all the plant compounds. It's not really selective. You're getting a bunch of everything that the plant gives you.
Wow, that's really cool, man.
When you're doing something of this nature, do you see other competitors trying to mimic what you're doing, or is this something that you guys are the originators at and you are the pioneer on this forefront?
Well, I certainly wouldn't say we're the originators. So solventless methods of extraction have been around for thousands of years. You think about like old school Moroccan hash and Afghani hash. That was all made by people beating the plant off like a rock or something like that to get the trichomes off and then pressing the resin together. And, that technically is a solventless way of extraction. I think, the way we're doing it, is certainly like a little bit more modern, and we're taking techniques we've learned from other types of extraction that we've done in the past and kind of incorporating them. And another big game changer is really the quality of the material. I mean, when people were, making solventless hash back in the day, when I kind of first started in the industry, everybody had bubble hash, and that was all made from trim that the farmers didn't really want. This is when we're just like, get it off the property. We don't want it. And, the hash makers would go take it and we'd make it in a barn or something like that. And, it'd be kind of low grade bubble hash. And that's another solventless method. But, incorporating the rosin pressing and then, also the fresh frozen cannabis as, the starting material has really, really been a game changer as far as the product.
So excuse me if this is like an ignorant question, but that sounds like healthier. Is that the right word to use when you're not when you compare it to like floor cleaner?
Yeah.
And it's not, like it sounds like it's a much better thing to be
Ajax,
ingesting.
it sounds great.
Yeah.
It's the cleanest thing out there. I mean, it's kind of like when, I would compare it to like a fresh squeezed orange juice versus like an orange juice from concentrate that was made from, certain machine type processes and things like that. I mean, like I said, every extractor, that has any type of integrity is going to make sure they get all the residual solvent out of the product. So it's always going to be healthy. I mean, I've always heard the comparison, and I don't know the scientific data behind it, but when you go to light a bowl and the butane of that lighter, actually, when you're inhaling more butane that way than you would off like a butane-based concentrate. There's more ppms of butane, basically. So you could say it's healthier, it's cleaner, for sure. I just don't want to knock. There's a lot of really good live resins and solvent-based concentrates out there, and I don't want to turn people off of them. I think they're great. They have great terpene profiles and other great things about them. But yeah, I would say it's definitely like the cleanest type product out there. Absolutely.
So Ruthie, what kind of products from Jetty do we have in the stores?
Yeah, we have the solventless vape cart, which Nate, I think, just won some awards. Is that right?
Yeah, we got second place in the Emerald Cup for non-solvent vape cart. So we're super stoked about that for the Fat Soul strain. Yeah, we entered 2 strains, the Banana Punch, which had won a High Times and, I think an Emerald Cup in the past. And it seemed, I don't know, I guess the judges were a little more leaning towards the gas type flavors because, the Fatso, which is really a kind of like heavy OG flavor, that's the one that placed for us. So we're super happy about it.
Nice.
So Ruthie, you turned me on to this brand.
Yes.
And
One thing I love about Jetty is
Yeah.
that they're local. They started in San Diego, and we've been working with Jetty from the beginning. I've worked very closely with a lot of people on the team. We've interviewed Nate and we've interviewed Katie, who's been with you for a long time. So yeah, they're great friends of ours.
The thing I got to say, besides the actual product itself, I thought the same thing that Alex asked, which is, oh, this is probably a healthier alternative to other carts that don't say that they're solventless. So that's the first thing I thought. The second thing was, there's something about the actual cart itself, and I don't mean the glass part with the liquid in it. It's the wood at the tip, right? It makes me feel like I'm playing a clarinet or a saxophone. I mean, I know that sounds a little weird, but I love the feeling of the tip on my lips. That, oh God, that didn't sound right.
Wow.
Sorry, Browner.
Okay.
Browner,
You know what you meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So-
interchangeable there for sure.
Nate, how'd this thing happen? How did this woodenish tip thing happen?
Yeah, I mean, we were just looking for something that was like more of a natural feel and aesthetic. We're the cannabis industry, the packaging, a lot of stuff we use is definitely not the most sustainable. So we're always looking for little ways to be a little bit more sustainable, or as sustainable as we can be. So those wood tips are actually really interesting. They're made from I call it upcycled sandalwood. I don't know if that's a real term or not, but basically there's a sandalwood factory and, they're making, and it's from a sandalwood farm because sandalwood's endangered if it were in the wild, but they get this wood from a sandalwood farm. They make furniture, whatever they do with it. And there's all these little nub cutoffs and leftover pieces. And that's what those wood tips get made from, which is really, really nice and interesting. Instead, they're just going into the landfill. So those are actually, something we're reclaiming or saving or from going into the landfill. And it just gives it a nice kind of feel, like a natural feel. Sometimes I get like kind of like nervous habit. I kind of like gnaw on it a little bit, like on a pen cap or something back in the day. So, that's a little bit better on my teeth than say a ceramic tip and things like that. But so that's kind of how it came around. And it's something we debate. I can go down rabbit holes for everything, but I guess it's something we kind of debate internally a lot because, like you'll get some people say, it might change the flavor, the terp profile a little bit. And, there's this kind of like wooden kind of undertone maybe. That's very, very faint. So we're always kind of looking for the next best thing and looking at other like sustainable materials that we can use as a tip alternative.
Well, I really like that. And Browner, you're never going to let me off the hook for the way I described that, are you?
Not ever. Not ever. I could barely contain myself. Of course you would put it that way.
On record. It's going to go viral.
Yeah.
Never letting that one go, buddy. Thanks.
Alex, you were saying before Nate came on that you had a particular product that you were interested in. Somehow
you gotta talk to me about the Dablicator, dude. Excuse me for the voice today. I was on your Facebook page and I saw that. First of all, the Dablicator just sounds like a badass thing that I want. And then I saw the video and it just looks super cool. Can you tell us exactly what you guys made there?
Yeah. So the Dablicator is, we're talking about weird ideas with the neck pillow thing. It was a idea, I like to call it, when we were stoned one day. And my wifey was, we were dabbing. This is like way back in the day when you dab off titanium nails. And she, we'd put the oil in these like really old 1 mil plastic syringes. I don't know if you guys remember those. They're like 10 years old. No one really uses them anymore, but you don't want to melt like any sort of plastic in your dab, obviously. So you got to like hover the oil and, how about, so it just kind of came out of like us trying to dab oil when there wasn't really good oil dabbing devices out there. And hey, let's make something that dispenses the oil with a metal tip that you can put it directly on the dabber and things like that, or in the nail, in the banger, so to speak. So that was where it kind of came out of, and it's really turned into this kind of Swiss Army knife thing where you can twax the joint, you can just eat it straight up, you can put it in your tea, you can put it on your pizza, you can supercharge your bowl, your bong, or your joint, or whatever, and directly dab it. So it's really kind of a Swiss Army knife.
How cool is it to be able to sit around, enjoy the product, and then just think of something? Because people always get ideas when they're high. But now you're like up in the company. You literally can be like, I got a great idea, and then literally try it and turn it into something.
It's pretty freaking sweet. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, I would say not all our ideas get turned into something. A lot of times we get shut down, and that was.
What was the worst one? Give me the worst idea you had while high. When let's try this.
Because I got to tell you something. The Dablicator, I've never seen that before. I've never seen that. I don't know. You have taught me something today that I don't know.
Yeah, it's a really cool product, and it's actually picking up steam. We just launched the Solventless product in it. It's not even out in the market yet, so we're gonna have a solventless oil in it, live resin, distillate, kind of all the form factors, which is great. And it's just a really, really good product, really versatile and functional.
All right, now we'll take the worst idea you had.
I don't know. That's a tough one. The neck pillow thing kind of is pretty weird, I think,
That one would go crazy though. That one's not gonna be a bad idea.
TSA would love that one. That's really what gets shut down is like the legal people on the team are like, you can't do that, dude.
We call them the dream killers.
Yeah.
Well, you're like one of the companies that started before the recreational marijuana days. So how how much has that changed?
Oh,
especially here in California.
Tremendously. I mean, I would say like the biggest thing that like I felt kind of personally and just like the old days to the new days was the compassion side of our business, which is the shelter project. And it used to be a lot easier for us to get medical patients in California medicine directly back then versus now in the crazy supply chains and logistical things and compliance jargon that we have to go through to get people free cannabis, which was just always crazy to me. It's like, all right, cannabis is legal. Like it should be easier to give it away to people that need it the most. And it just became so much harder. There's been tons of hurdles, as you guys know. I mean, you've been around as well. And it's been crazy seeing that transition. And it was much easier to get things done, get new products out. It made for a really good competitive landscape where everybody was, think of a new idea or new product and, they could have it to market in 3 months and, didn't have to go through all the compliance hurdles that we do now. But at the same time, it makes for, a safer, healthier product, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, at the end of the day, where, things are tested and, back in the day, there was barely any testing labs and, who knew what was in your product? It was just, hard to find people to test for pesticides and heavy metals and all sorts of things. So in the long run, I guess it's better because it's safer, but it definitely made things a lot harder and more challenging.
Yeah, we're actually one of Torrey Holistics is one of the dispensaries in San Diego that does have the compassion program. So medical patients can pick up free cannabis every third Sunday. They just go onto the website and RSVP. It did take us actually quite a while to get it going. It was a little difficult, but it is something that's super important to us. We want to make sure that medical patients can get their free cannabis for sure.
Are you guys more open to has the legalization allowed you guys to operate it on a business level that you didn't think would be possible earlier? Or has the legalization kind of put so many hurdles in your way it's kind of more of a nuisance than it is a help?
I'd say before legalization, there wasn't much long-term planning. You didn't know really if you were going to get popped by the police. And, one of the reasons, we left San Diego was it was a very hostile climate for cannabis and especially cannabis extractors. And this is back in the day when people are open blasting butane and blowing up themselves and blowing up garages. And you guys would hear these news articles back in the day. And, people were not doing it safely, which led to a lot of the prosecutions. But it just, it was always, we had been raided a couple times, and myself kind of personally more than a couple times back in those days. And it was, just kind of survival. Like we wanted it, we loved it. It was more of a movement than an industry. And we just, we knew we could potentially go to jail for this, but we just loved the plant. We loved what we were doing, and we wanted to give it to the people. So, we'd take that risk, and it was kind of exciting, but scary. There's a lot of times where you're just worried that you're going to get your door kicked in tomorrow. And so that aspect of it has changed. And what's been really difficult, as you said, is like the compliance side. And that's been just like a slow, painstaking process that's just really, really complicated, but there's line of sight. There's a long-term vision now that we can kind of see 2, 3, 4, 5 years out, which we couldn't see before. And that's the biggest difference, I think, is really being able to plan for a long-term business, which is nice.
I think one thing I'm hearing, Ruthie, from you and from Nate as well, it's interesting to me. I think a lot of people would just look at companies and go, hey, weed was legalized, so everybody decided to get into the business, and everybody came up with a brand, and everybody opened up a shop, and everybody's all about making money. When I hear you talk about the Compassion Program, or I hear Nate talk about the risk that he took before there was legalization, and the love for the plant, and the want to give back to the patients who need it, it's kind of interesting how I think most people just kind of look at it as a business, but there's a lot of heart in it, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't mean to get so like overly mushy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there really is. I'm sure Nate can speak more to it, but so many vendors, owners that I speak to, have been in it for a long time and got into it because of the love of the plant and how it helped them in their lives or lives of their loved ones.
Absolutely. I totally agree. There is certainly like the, greedy side of cannabis that we're seeing more and more these days. And, people that don't really care about the plant or don't even consume and, just kind of in it for profit motives and things like that, which, we got to kind of create some elbow room for the people that really have been here for a long time and really care about the plant and be stewards of the cannabis plant is like what I like to say, and try to be in this time, because it's there's a lot of people in it, I'd say, for the wrong reasons, but there is a lot of good in the cannabis industry.
Hey Nate, before you roll out, where are you today, man?
I'm in Santa Cruz, California.
Mm-hmm.
So our headquarters are in Oakland. So like I said, we kind of got, I don't want to say chased out of San Diego, but we had to leave basically. That, I don't think there was going to be much of a future in San Diego at that point. So we took our extraction equipment and moved up north. We moved many, many different places all around kind of Northern California. And our headquarters is currently in Oakland, California, which for me is about an hour drive away. And, but Santa Cruz is kind of the closest thing I have to San Diego up here. So, kind of enjoy the beach lifestyle a little bit.
I asked everybody this question. I'm going to ask you this question. This is our toughest question you'll probably get here today. So brace yourself.
Yeah.
Do you remember where and when the first time you got high?
Oh, yeah, that's an easy question. For something more tough. The first time I smoked, I think, friend's older brother packed us a bowl of just seeds and stems, which he thought, he was messing with us, obviously, and we were young little kids and didn't know any better. So I didn't really get high my first time because I was smoking a shitty bowl of seeds and stems. And but then I remember the first time I really got high, like, whoa, something's up. And absolutely just sitting around a party and, somebody had like a video game or something playing and it got all blurry and everything started echoing. And I was like, something's happening here. So just like organically decided to go for a walk and just needed to be in nature at that moment. So took a really nice walk around town and it was a really great experience.
How old were you?
Nice.
Yeah, I was probably like 15-ish.
Just need to get outside for a walk, man. I need some air.
Yeah, it was it was like kind of a little crowded environment. And I was like, what's going on here? I need to kind of make sure I'm still breathing and everything's good. So I had to do a little self-assessment, and then once I kind of found a little breathing room outside, everything was great.
Oh, that's funny. Nate, really great conversation, man. I know that we're going to talk to a lot of people that are going to be listening to this that maybe have already used Jetty products or will try them now. But love the product. Really appreciate the conversation. It's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for doing this today.
Yeah, thank you guys for spreading cannabis info to the people. It's great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Ruthie,
Nate.
this is
Keep the
awesome.
ideas coming.
Yeah. Keep those crazy ideas
That's
coming. Is
cool.
right, man.
I'll let you know when we got the airplane pillow prototype.
Yeah, I'll be the first
Yes.
tester.
I was going to say,
Yes,
we
sir.
will test it out for you.
Yeah.
Right. Nate, thanks. And to everybody who's listening and watching, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next episode of the Holistics Highlights podcast.